Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy or game design. My name is Trevor Scott, and with me is Ben Slinger.
Yes, hello, and welcome. And Trevor, this week we are going to play our game Click Pitch. And for those who might be listening for the first time, Click Pitch is a game where we each have a random word generator in front of us, and on the count of 3, 2, 1, click, we will get a new word. We're going to tell each other the word, and we're going to jam those words together into an improvised game design. So let's jump in. Let's get our first word.
Okay, my first word is plaster.
Okay, my first word is everlasting.
Everlasting plaster.
Everplastering?
I'm kind of seeing a room with a stasis chamber.
Ooh, okay.
And the plaster on the walls is always like, as you come out of like, your character comes out of stasis, the same plaster is on the wall, like the same poster is up on the wall and all this sort of stuff.
Okay, I like that idea of sort of the room that you come out in every single time stays the same, but you just don't know what's going to happen when you step outside that door. You could be in a different, like you don't know how much time has passed, essentially. I guess if it's a stasis chamber, you're just like moving forward in time for an indeterminate amount of time.
Yes. So I think you're sort of like this town's savior, that you come out in times of need.
Yep.
You defeat the villain or whatever thing is uprising.
Yep.
And then you get put back in stasis.
I like that. That's a fun little idea where it's this technological thing, but to the villagers, you are some sort of mythical, creature, mythical being who shows up in times of need. So is there something about that the people in this town do a particular thing which like turns off, like which brings you out of stasis? Is it that they, in times of need, they like ring the bell of, John?
Ring the bell of yon. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they ring the yon bell.
I think what happens when you ring the yon bell is the power actually gets interrupted and the stasis just gets turned off.
Yeah.
You come out and your whole thing is you're trying to get some sleep. So you go deal with their shit, get your power turned back on, get inside the stasis chamber. Because the reason why you're in stasis is there was something wrong with you. You're actually...
Yes.
You can only be outside of the stasis field for so long. You get out, you're grumpy, you've been asleep for X amount of time.
Yes. Yes, I think we're in a far future post-dystopic world where essentially civilization has crumbled and rebuilt into a more primitive form, forgotten the past, and you are a remnant of it. You were literally, you were put in stasis to be healed at a future time by better technology, but essentially the world collapsed, and you were left. And then, yes, one day, like when they rang the bell, I like the idea that it's actually it's the bell of yonder, but your name is like John Deere. No relation.
What, to the tractor company?
To the tractor company. Or something. Like I'm trying to think. It's a miscommunication of the name. Like maybe there's a old faded label on the outside of this building that you're deep inside that had your name on it or something, or the name of the company. John Deere got into stasis pods.
He may have. Okay, so now that we've come up with the basic idea, the gameplay, I'm thinking that it's like an action adventure, sort of Dark Soulsy-y.
Yeah, I think so. And I'd want the illness that your character has to play a part in it. Like the longer you take, perhaps, the weaker
that you become,
the weaker you're going to be in the next time you're called. And there's almost a challenge in getting to the end before you die. Or maybe the challenge is how far can you get before you die. Maybe it's a bit more of a roguelike, like you replay it, to try to get further each time. Yeah.
I do like the fact that you could easily return back to areas that you've already gone through in earlier times, and there are some things that remain from, when you were here last time, you broke open this coffin, and that coffin is now, sort of in pieces. And
well, I guess I wonder I guess it depends on how much time is passing. Like I'm almost thinking
hundreds of
generations. Yeah, at least generations. And so that gives us the opportunity to see this town grow over time. I like the idea that you might meet someone as a child and then the next time you're called, like they're elderly and about to die. There could be some interesting character and story stuff that you could bring in there.
Mm-hmm. I think the reason behind, like, if you get killed as such, you kind of, your illness actually prevents you from actually dying. I think it's like one of those things of, or something in the stasis pod actually keeps you,
they've got some backups.
Yeah.
Like they have the technology to create full clone backups of you, but not to actually fix the thing that's wrong with your body.
I mean, I keep on coming up with these things whenever we, like, real life reasons as to why game logic actually works, but we don't have to. We don't have to. It could just be that you die and you start that level again, like most games out there. It's like you get woken up. It's like, oh my god, I had a Final Destination sort of thing, and he makes mention of that specific
of the Final
movie
Destination
franchise.
movie. Yeah. I mean, it was up to about 27 by the time the stasis pods were invented, and
because they had a big resurgence after the first 5.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm actually veering away from the roguelike thing now that I think about it, and even potentially the weakening as you go thing, because I feel like there's more opportunity there for just crafting this village and this town over time.
Yeah.
And the character-based stuff that you come up with that. But then also that, yes, there's a lot of action-adventure combat sort of stuff. Like, I think it's that for whatever reason, this town is regularly overrun by, creatures from mutated humans that came out of the faulty stasis pods in the area or something, right? Like, we can tie it back into the same history that brought you here. Like, you're essentially in the one stasis pod that actually continued functioning correctly.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so obviously in a lot of games you want to be able to level up. I think each time that you go back to the stasis pod, you can sort of have like a skill tree sort of thing that you can now sort of fill in, that the stasis pod will actually sort of imbue you with extra powers as you
it could actually be that, like, as you kill these creatures that have come from their own stasis pods, you like find parts from their pods, or you find, you get some of their DNA or whatever. Like, we could definitely tie that in where you killing them or you finding parts of other stasis pods lets you increase the technology of your stasis pod, which lets it,
imbue you with more powers
your body while you're in stasis.
A la your Demolition Man, where you get powers of knitting, you get, the knowledge of the 3 shells, all these sort of awesome things from that movie. Yeah. Yeah,
of course. And I mean, in this world, strangely enough, it's 4 shells that they use to wipe, and it's a similar predicament, but
very much so. Is Taco Bell still the main restaurant of choice? I've just gone down into Demolition Man. Sorry about that.
Taco Bell did not survive the apocalypse. Pizza Hut did.
So they went with the Australian version, where for some reason they decided to put the Pizza Hut symbol, because we're not sophisticated enough to understand what Taco Bell was.
To understand that other countries have different fast food joints.
3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah, I think let's move on and let's get another word. Ooh, okay. Cashier.
Gearing.
Gearing?
Gearing. Gearing. Gearing.
So is this, are you a cashier on the road in some way, like on a motorbike or something?
Ooh, in transit.
Yeah. So, this is the next phase of, the gig economy, like Uber Eats and this sort of thing. But it's car to car delivery.
Yep.
Where you essentially let them track you on your GPS. You say, I need some food. I'm in my car, and they track you down and pull up beside you and give you the food, and you have to like pay pass at the window.
Technically you should have already paid. Like, it usually gets paid through the app, and then you get money. They can give you a tip depending on how well you weave through traffic and not hit their car.
So this is essentially a Road Rash style game. I don't know if we actually have combat, but it could be that you are competing against other drivers from competing companies.
Oh God, I'm thinking Road Rash, and I'm thinking kicking someone in front of a truck, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of what I want to see. Like,
just fries fly up in the air.
and you reach out and catch their delivery and put their satchel on your shoulder as well, and you're riding your motorcycle
like that
down.
idea of stealing other people's deliveries. So I'm picturing this in a bit of a Burnout Paradise style open city.
Yeah.
Where you get an order comes in, you have to go to the restaurant to pick up the order.
And it's a first one there for, get sort of thing.
Yes. So you will see like 3 other bike riders converging on the Indian place on the corner.
But just because you've got it doesn't mean that you're the only one. You're the one who's going to deliver it. Like,
so I think I like that. So,
is this an open world MMO sort of thing of got multiple riders out there?
Okay, let's see how that could work. So you're actually bringing this into multiplayer.
I'm thinking along lines of, your GTA Online thing where you've got like 32 players online.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think you've got a limited number of people in this particular city. But yes, it's a competition, and then presumably all AI cars that you're delivering to. Yeah. I like that. And so, if someone else snags that order, you can either tag them and say like, no, fuck that. Like, this order's mine. Or you can just be like, shit. All right, let that one go. Wait for the next, or just pick up the next one that comes through. We can bring in some trends. We can bring in like each restaurant in the city maybe has levels of popularity that go up and down. So, it may be beneficial for you to, if you're realizing that a particular restaurant is rising in popularity, hang around that area a bit more.
Well, especially because the tips from, say the north side of the city from this one restaurant are there to die for, or really there to kill for.
Yes. What happens when you die? Or is there a die, or is it just you get knocked off your bike, lose your order, lose some money?
Lose some order, lose some money, and now you have to perform some sort of repairs on your bike.
Is that just spending money to do that? Or is it like a mini game, you're out of order for a while? You probably don't want it to take too long. I kind of don't want that. I want you to be able to get straight back in. Like, I think because in this sort of world, it's a cashless society. So, okay,
funds are straight away transferred into your bank.
The only currency is takeaway food.
The only currency is time. And it's like,
I thought you were going to say the only currency is Thai. I'll trade you a pad CU for a red curry chicken.
Have you got any green curry? No. Bang.
Here's a tip. 3 roti.
God. No, but I think that has a bit of,
Yeah. So I think you're obviously, you're doing this for money.
Yes.
It costs some money to get back on the road immediately. If you're knocked off, if you fall. But you can also spend money presumably on upgrading your bike, upgrading your weapons, upgrading your armor, as well as cosmetics galore, of course.
Oh yeah. Like I mean, one of the things kind of like along the lines of the GTA Online is you do have, in-game cash that you can, if you really want to spruce up your bike. It's not pay to win though, so it's only cosmetic stuff that you can buy with that sort of in-game currency.
You're talking currency that you pay real dollars for.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
either that or we don't have to have real dollars in there. It could just be that you earn it through through playing.
But you can also buy cosmetic things.
But you can buy cosmetic
manually
things.
from it.
And I think we caught the real brands, right? Like we've got our fake brands in there initially, but over time we gain in popularity. And we get KFC wanting some advertising in the game. So now they are one of the restaurants, but also you might get your full set of KFC armor that you can purchase, which gives you a bonus when delivering KFC.
Yes. But it gets you, what's the opposite of a bonus? Like it gets you a
penalty?
Like a penalty. If you're delivering, something from Red Rooster.
Yes.
So
it actually imbues you with the power of whichever KFC meal. So if they've ordered a zinger, like you will be on fire and can set and can then you've got flame attacks.
But the problem is
ordered popcorn chicken, then you've got like big jumping powers as you like popcorn into the air.
The problem is as you're riding your bike, and you're getting closer to your delivery, and then KFC decided to, set off their advertising thing, which just launches fireworks at the back of your bike and all this sort of stuff because, they really want to get other people ordering. Mm-hmm. It just lets everyone know that he's nearly there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just over there. Quick, go kill him. Okay. What was I thinking of? I like the idea of it being, you can do some of the smaller deliveries and people aren't going to necessarily find you and all this sort of stuff. Like you can always tell, the only bike riders in the city are actually, whatever this game's delivery drivers are called.
Now, from your motions, and for those listening, we have video so we can see each other. Are you thinking pedal bikes?
No.
Okay.
Road bikes.
Yeah, I was thinking road bikes too, but it seemed like you were making the motion of on a pedal bike. And that would have just had its. Maybe you can choose to ride a pedal bike, and it's a penalty because it's a lot slower. But you will get bigger tips if you make it, just because they feel bad for you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what sort of weapons you can actually be picking up. Are they physical weapons and all that sort of stuff, or are they more around the
Are they like the James Bond-esque dropping oil slicks behind you kind of vibe, as opposed to the spiked bats vibe of Road Rash?
Oh, even worse, the minigun / Uzi of GTA where you're literally killing people.
No, I think this is. I don't think you're literally killing people. I think this is.
You can knock them into traffic, and that they're not going to come away with that from that. From that truck hitting them very nicely.
Well, I think you just have it. I think we actually keep this bloodless. I think it's more about the competition. Yes, if you knock them into traffic, they will be very badly hurt, but I think it just costs them more money than to heal up and get back in the game. And then yes, we keep the weapons non-lethal, so it is things around disrupting them as they're riding, whether it's oil slicks, whether it's some sort of burst of air to push them off a road, whether it's a long grappling arm to steal the deliveries out of their satchel.
Whether it's I like the idea of a long pole with a little saw on the end, a little saw and a claw, and it cuts the satchel strap and then grabs hold of it. And then you can retract
in one go.
One thing I want in this game is Twitch integration.
Ooh, yeah. Yep.
So that you can have viewers who talk about which deliveries you should be going for, and they get you an extra.
They get a vote. Yeah.
They get you an extra incentive to go for it, and I like the idea of if you don't go their way, you don't sort of do their stuff, they also can take a vote to plaster your current location,
your current
across the map.
I do like the idea of Twitch streamers being able to mess with you a bit or help you out. Perhaps can the Twitch streamers put in orders as the NPCs in some way. And so when you get that delivery, it chooses one of the orders put in by your Twitch viewers. And so they get a little thrill of like, oh, like they're delivering to me, and it'll have like their image on it and stuff. That could be cool.
Yeah. I think that could also be delivered by someone else who happens to be in the server though. So it may not be seen by the viewer.
Right. Yes. Of course. If they get to it first. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I know. I quite like that game.
Yeah, that's cool. And in fact, I think that Twitch integration could make it quite interesting, because I'm just thinking now, like, they're going to get a notification that, oh, like one of your Twitch viewers has put in an order. It's over here. That actually, if you then don't get that order, like, it actually gives you an incentive to try harder on that order to please your viewers. And that could create a bit of excitement for people watching and stuff too. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I think there's some interesting
There's a market
stuff
there for it.
But let's click again.
3, 2, click.
Ledge.
Detective.
Ooh, the ledge detective. He finds all the rotten ledges in this town.
I was going to say ledges is where my mind went instead of the ledge.
No, I was thinking literally the ledge of a windowsill or
I was thinking ledger.
Well, hang on. Because a ledge what in cities likes to hang out on window ledges?
Pigeons.
Exactly. I think
it's the pigeon mafia.
I think you're a pigeon detective in a big city.
Okay. So we need to clarify this. Are you a detective who happens to be a pigeon, or are you a detective who tries to find certain pigeons?
No, I think you are a pigeon.
Okay, you are a pigeon.
But I think you're also solving crimes for the, like, rodents and vermin of this city.
So you're solving crimes for the humans of the city?
No, Trevor, despite the state of city dwellers in our in our world,
they wanted to know who pooped on this person's head. And so you have to go.
Well, it could be that, like, one of the things you have to do is one of the pigeons is on the run because they shit on someone's Mercedes, and now that person is out to get them. And so you have to, like, put them in witness protection.
So Twitch integration. Yeah, I like that. So is our pigeon detective bitter for a reason? Has a bit of angst against maybe the human population. Like something happened.
Something happened. Did perhaps... I'm trying to think of some of the good, like, myths around feeding pigeons too much bread or something and they explode, or I don't know. Isn't there, like...
Oh, if you feed them aspirin, they can explode.
Yeah.
So I think
there's a dramatic flashback to when his partner, went to take something.
Child. I think child.
Oh, child. Okay.
Parent.
Do
father.
we want to see? Okay, maybe a parent. Because I was just about to say, I'm not sure we want to see a little baby pigeon explode into a burst of feathers.
I kind of do.
Yeah, but Trevor, that's just you being, evil.
Edgy.
God, we can't even watch baby pigeons die anymore. What's come of this world? I like parent. I think, yes.
Oh, it's that whole Bambi sort of situation of, you're quite young and you see your father go over and it's like, so what you do is you wait for them to throw out the bread and then you go over and you pick it up and you eat and, like, flying away and he goes, oh, I feel like explodes. And
well, is it that he's taken the bread from, like, some teenager? Yeah. So maybe you even warn him. It's like, oh, that didn't look like the right sort of bread, Dad. You sure it's okay? Oh, it's fine, son. I've been doing this for many years. And then, yes, you see him explode into
and then it zooms in, like the camera just tilts and pans into the teenagers and goes into their bag and you see aspirin. And there's a warning label on it. Do not feed to pigeons.
Do not feed to pigeons.
As their stomachs will explode. Just really calling it out.
And yeah, the bottle just keeps turning. Like, the camera keeps panning around the bottle, and as the warning label continues, to the point that it's actually unrealistically, like, for more than the circumference of the entire bottle.
As you realise that it's gone around the bottle 3 times and it's still going.
It's still going. It hasn't repeated. Okay. And so, I mean, that's a very sort of Batman-esque beginning in a way. But,
well, it's, you know, the pigeon detective, you know, he puts a little mask on.
Do you think we do that? Do you think we go kind of more of the superhero-ish detective, like?
I kind of think we have to. Yeah, there's just something about a pigeon who can fly, but he doesn't, you know, the way that he gets all his food is sort of, you know, scavenges for it. He doesn't take handouts and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. He's traumatized by taking food from humans. Certainly. And he gets made fun of for that. But little do they know he spends his nights solving the crimes of this rotten city. So, gameplay. I mean, I love the idea of just flying around as a pigeon with a mask on.
Yeah. You got to deal with the different air currents in the air. Like,
well, I think you could do some good traversal stuff there where you can utilize the air currents and that sort of thing, certainly. Do we go again sort of a relatively open world where you're picking up cases? Yeah, there's a rat in a sewer over here. There's another pigeon on a windowsill over here.
When I think pigeons, I think New York City. So I think it's got to be set in New York. Because then you've got that lovely big park right in the middle, you know. Yeah. It's in the middle. So is it called Middle Park?
I think that's it. Yeah, I haven't been. I think it is something like Middle Park.
It's very like park-like.
And that's where, like, if obviously then if we're in America, you'll have squirrels, you'll have other
trash pandas. Yep.
Yeah, raccoons, certainly. And
that's what they're called.
Skunks.
I think to bring a little bit of Australian into it, there needs to be like one of your like CIs, you know, your criminal informants, is a bin chicken.
Okay.
So it's just like
an ibis is somehow
ibis,
like it's escaped from an exotic animal zoo.
Yeah, well, just New York Zoo. Like it happened to get out of its cage one day. Like you see, you know, it's like I don't know what's a good name that starts with I. Idris the Ibis.
Idris the Ibis. And we actually get Idris Elba to voice the Ibis.
Fuck
that would be perfect. All right. Well, okay. Let's get on to casting then.
Mm-hmm.
Who is playing the pigeon?
Ooh, I kind of like a Jason Schwartzman.
Oh, that could work well. Yeah. Well, he kind of did a bit of a private eye sort of thing in Bored to Death. Oh. So bringing back that kind of character. Well, and if we really want to reunite that team, you get Ted Danson to come in as maybe that was his father. If we just wanted,
but no, if you're going to get a talent like Ted Danson, you want him in the show.
Well, it's just it might be expensive, so like we might only be able to afford him for the intro, but no, okay. And then the other person in that show was Zach Galifianakis, who could also work quite well as maybe a raccoon or a squirrel or something. Yep. Maybe there's a squirrel, like maybe there's one of those characters that's like super enthusiastic and wants to be your sidekick, but is just annoying and not helpful the whole time.
Okay, so we've got our sort of our different crew of characters.
Kristen Schaal plays that squirrel.
Yes. Yes. I think you also maybe need a Flight of the Conchords sort of Brett McKenzie or.
There you go. If we're reuniting past groups, yes. Well, I mean, do they play the Ibis? I mean, I know.
No, because you need Idris Elba for that.
Oh, we've got Idris. I forgot. Yeah, okay, we've got Idris Elba playing the Ibis, which makes no sense because Ibis is from Australia, but
he's British.
He's British. He'll be able to do a good Aussie accent if he.
Most people
they won't tell the difference. The Americans won't tell the difference.
Okay, so we've got a lovely cast of characters. We need a villain.
Ooh, okay. What's this villain doing? Maybe let's start there. Is it a human? Is the villain a human, or is it another animal?
It's a human, and they're definitely collecting.
They're a taxidermist. Part-time. They're a hobbyist taxidermist.
A hobbyist taxidermist. Yes.
So when you notice your friend's missing, and then they show up in like the back room of this villain.
Yes. Okay. What is the most evil sort of person that you can think of?
Dentist.
Yeah. Dentists are pretty damn evil. Yeah, okay. It's a dentist, and in his office, he has all these taxidermy.
All the taxidermied animals, badly taxidermied. He's actually not very good at it. Just to really like rub salt in the wound of your friend the raccoon played by Seth Rogen, who gets killed and then stuffed really badly.
I thought Zach Galifianakis was playing the raccoon.
Well, it's his friend.
Okay, it's his friend.
There's more than one raccoon.
So in the final level, when you finally make it inside, like the dentist's back room or his taxidermy studio, you see a patchwork pigeon that has been put together, and you recognize it as your father, as played by...
Oh my God. And so this is actually the teenager.
This is actually the teenager who exploded your father.
Yeah, all those years ago.
He became the most vile, like, villain on the planet, which is a dentist who happens to be a taxidermy enthusiast.
Yes, those things put together is definitely the worst.
Taxidermy on its own? Great.
He's also a Republican.
Dentist on its own? Fuck no, that's just evil.
Who plays the dentist?
Oh, I mean, Steve Martin played a great dentist in in Little Shop of Horrors.
I can see Steve Martin in there as a dentist.
I'm not sure whether he'd actually want to go back to playing a dentist, though, because he was a bad guy in that as well. Like, he's already played the bad dentist.
I think he's okay.
He may not want to do it.
I think he's okay. He's doing a new show with Martin Short. I think the two of them are fine with being typecast as whatever their shtick is.
Who else could play an evil dentist? John Lithgow.
Yes. I could definitely see a John Lithgow. I could see a John Oliver, if we want to go that path.
John Oliver. I'm thinking maybe a little bit younger.
We could go a Freddie Highmore. I don't know. That's like the only youngish actor that came to mind.
Johnny Depp.
No. Daniel Radcliffe. Get a Danny Radcliffe.
A Daniel Radcliffe as a bad guy. That'd be... He sort of fits within the time period that I'm thinking, because, teenager to dentist, there's enough of years in there.
Yeah.
And he does weird roles now, doesn't he?
Oh, he'd love it. He'd be right on board.
Yeah. I think, yep. Okay. It's Daniel Radcliffe all the way. He plays an evil dentist who loves taxidermy. Patchwork father,
Patchwork father played by Ted Danson.
Yeah. Okay. So when you go in there, the spirit of Ted Danson, a la your Obi-Wan, he says, go for the mouth or something like that.
You literally pull the teeth out of this dentist in the final battle.
Yep. Okay. So obviously there's a lot of story that happens on the way to there. And it's all great. Yes. Yeah, but we don't have time to go into it.
No. We've got, it's like we said,
we've just spent the last
world.
5 minutes talking about cast members, casting. And that's fucked.
just to sort of recap that, you've got an open world. You're essentially in probably a bit of a GTA style way, where you've got like some side missions, but then you've got your main couple of story threads going through that are involving all these characters, this cast of characters, and eventually kind of revealing that so much of the crime in this city is coming down to, or at least the crime that's been committed against these animals in the city is coming down to this evil dentist.
Yeah. And it all happens to be overlooking this middle park area.
Yes, exactly. It's sort of that surrounding area of middle park.
Rather central to New York. Yeah.
I like it. 3 to 1 click. Ooh, I have another animal-based one. Equestrian.
Allocation.
Equestrian allocation.
Okay. You play an announcer for the Olympics. You've been allocated to equestrian and you don't know anything about it.
You know nothing about it.
It's like you got there late on the first day and they said the only thing left is equestrian. And you're like,
it's like, oh, crap.
Fuck.
Didn't get any of the good ones. I wanted to do the swimming.
But you slept in and you find out that someone's actually sabotaged your mobile phone. And, and so
there's a real like announcer on announcer drama going on in this game.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
how much of the game is actually the announcing and how much of it is just the interpersonal dynamics of the Olympic announcers?
I really want to see what goes on in the seedy underbelly of announcing at the Olympics. Like, especially given that we've just had an Olympics in this time and space. Do they actually need to go to the Olympic Village or can they do it from outside of that? In this case, in the game, I think you're within the Olympic Village and all this sort of stuff. The difference is the announcers think of themselves as like the best things that are going there, and they don't like the athletes at all. Yeah, as far as they're concerned, like it's like all about the announcing.
There would be no Olympics. How would the general public know what was going on just by watching if we weren't there to explain it in great detail in real time?
Yeah, and so they're all very high and mighty.
But you know nothing about equestrian. So is there some gameplay around watching a horse do like dressage and having to like pick the right words or sentences to describe it in some way?
Yeah. And I think it's kind of like a word search in the fact that we give like just a bevy of words and it's just like, yeah, there you go. Deal with it. Find the word that you want to actually.
None of them are actual real words to do with equestrian. It's all, you're out there like, oh yeah, okay. So we have Billy Johnson and his horse Freckles, and they
are currently blotting.
They're blotting sideways across the court. And now there seems to be a little pranciful sort of leap. Yes, and they've pulled that off very well. And next is they're jumping over a beam. And now I pass to my co-announcer.
And they go, all those words that you just said mean nothing. It's obvious that the horse has been trotting across the field.
Yes, but they sounded good. So that's all that matters.
Leapt over the marker or whatever it is. And it's like,
I don't personally know. So I'm perfect for doing this because I have no idea.
I have no idea.
My wife would know.
Yeah. But could you imagine how cool it would be to then sneak into, like, as you find out who it is, you sneak into doing other announcing gigs of, you can sort of do the Mission Impossible of poisoning.
I thought you were going to say the Mission Impossible of hanging from the ceiling and then coming down to the announcer microphone while you're like flat there hanging and doing the announcing from that position.
No, you have like, you put a little bit of laxatives in
in their drinks,
in Billy's coffee and send him off to the bathroom and then you're all of a sudden being called up to, you're there and the producer goes, you're on, get on there. It's like, oh, I'm filling in for young Billy who's taken ill. I'm going to be talking about the swimming now. They appear to be plotting down the
lengths of the water
of the water area, and it's like you don't know any of the words for that.
You don't know the words for that either. And then you get to do your...
And they appear to be doing the doggy paddle now.
And then in your dream job, you get the equestrian, you get the water polo, as in on horses. You get to combine your knowledge.
That's a dream segment that happens late one night, and it's like, what other things are happening in the game?
Okay, I'm actually, so as funny as that is, if we're focusing on kind of the interpersonal stuff, I'm almost picturing this as a bit of a point and click style thing where it's more around, dialogue stuff, puzzles, like you said, maybe, getting rid of other announcers to sort of get some prestige and be able to announce other events. Because, you engineered it in some way that a particular event is going to be, the highlight of the show because you also essentially rigged, one of the swimmers or something. I don't know, you put a hole in his budgie smugglers.
I think each time that you sort of finish an area, you can go out to like a Monkey Island style map. That you can sort of see.
You've got the Olympic Village.
You've got the Olympic Village, and you can sort of see your little character walking off to, and all you see on the map are just where the different announcers actually are on the map, like which booth they're in and all this sort of stuff.
You can see them all in real time where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good because I think you can develop the relationships then very, very well between the different announcers.
And as you're walking along, like if you're having to bump into another announcer, you can actually stop and have a bit of a conversation, a bit of a powwow about how you think the games are going. And
do you have a Monkey Island style, insult sword fighting, but it's announcing?
It's
announcer sword fighting? No, well, they wouldn't have swords. They might carry around fencing, maybe one of them is the fencing announcer, and so he carries around a foil.
That's actually kind of cool.
A witty repartee for you to.
And then, you now have to raid the storage closet and get the different, be dressed for who you want to attack next.
Yeah, and just have the right. It is again around having the terminology. So, if you're up against the fencing announcer, you need to know all the terms to be able to shoot back the right terms, the right responses.
Yeah, and I think that depending on how well you play in the announcing, you can actually get a bit of a following online, and that has people wanting to watch more sports that you're involved in, so that the producers actually think of your name when a new, when an announcer doesn't appear for something. It's like, oh, well, you might actually bring in some of your fans.
Yeah, and it's all about getting that coveted spot in the swimming or whatever the top sport is. Swimming the top. What's the most popular sport in the Olympics?
In Australia, it's definitely swimming. Because we're kind of good at it.
Yeah.
And that's about it. But that's only in the first week. So you've got to be really quick. Otherwise you end up doing track and field and
fuck that.
You might end up doing the high jump. It's like, oh, he's running up and he jumps over. Oh,
he jumped pretty high. Jumped pretty high that time. Good job. Let's see if the other one can jump as high or less high.
It's less high. Yay. 3, 2, 1, click.
Ooh, I'm getting lots of animal-related ones tonight, but they're all different enough. Tentacle.
Readership.
So you're a tentacle who writes books. You're an octopus who writes books.
I actually think it's a librarian who happens to also be half octopus.
Oh, is this like an Octodad situation?
Yeah, it could be.
Or, and I know technically they may not have
because
tentacles.
Because I like the idea of water and books not really
but I'm just thinking
mashing
ink,
very well.
If ink is involved,
yeah,
and so maybe some octopuses have ink, or is that just squid?
I don't know,
because I think also only one of them technically has tentacles.
Either way, there's some calamari and there's some ink. That's what we know. We're not speciesist.
Okay.
We'll go with
some sort of multi-armed, maybe tentacles, has ink.
Yeah.
Creature.
So this librarian has a bit of remorse. I think something happened early on and they're not quite happy about how, maybe they ruined a few books because they had an ink accident.
Mm-hmm. It happens.
It
happens to the best of us.
They got surprised and bang, whole non-fiction area gone.
Yeah, I was going to say, all of a sudden, all of like 352.1 was just inked.
I'm thinking the whole non-fiction section was inked. And
I mean, that's a lot. That's a big area.
Yeah, but it's non-fiction. No one ever goes in there. So nowadays, if they want to see non-fiction stuff, they just go to Wikipedia.
Yeah, I know. And if it was 352.1, then, they probably don't care that much about... Damn it. Too long to find.
Stupid Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah. Damn it. I was hoping to find it quicker than that. But yes, they probably don't care too much about jurisdictional levels of administration.
Yes. Okay. So what's happening in this library
So I think we could definitely bring in, and I don't want to obviously just rip off Octodad in that way, but I think it does bring in the idea of that sort of difficult interface, movement, like putting books on shelves when you don't really have great control. You're sort of tentacling them up there.
You may put one book back, but you knock 35 other books off the shelf.
Yeah, or like when you touch books, they like get attached to your suckers unless you shake them really hard or something. Like it's kind of hard to attach and detach them. If you do badly, you just end up this like 10 books attached to you as you run through this library. People looking at you strange. But I mean, do we also bring in then like finding specific books for people in that way too?
Yeah. So you've got to search on the computer first, because that'll tell you approximately where you need to go.
Yep.
You may get a few keycaps attached to your suckers because, they're... Yep. Occasionally you got to replace that keyboard. Like, it's good that it got attached to your suckers, because now you can do a deep cleaning when you get back.
I do love this idea of like every time you try to do stuff, you just end up with more and more stuff attached to you until you
Katamari Damacy style.
Yeah, exactly. Until you eventually have to like just somehow shake everything off of you.
And that's where a lot of inking comes into place, especially when you get surprised and then bang, there's ink everywhere.
Actually, that's an interesting challenge that like, as long as you're just walking around, you won't ink, but you will be like picking stuff as you go. But if you try to like violently shake stuff off yourself to get it all off, then you will ink. And so you do have to be strategic about where you do what.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So is there a time limit? Like, are you in a hurry?
Maybe it's around making noise rather than a time limit.
Okay.
Since you're in a library.
Mm-hmm. Are you an apprentice librarian? And the head librarian is always shushing you, and that's what makes you nervous, and that's what makes you ink. If you get too loud, you get shushed really violently. And that's what makes you just ink everywhere.
I mean, it could just be that anyone around will shush you because it's a library and they're all trying to read or whatever, and they're all assholes about it. Yeah. And for some reason, like, this library, I guess, in like the kids section has like the shelf with all the musical instruments. So you have to be really careful going by there. Otherwise, you're just going to make a whole lot of noise once you get a xylophone and some, maracas attached to you.
Mm-hmm. That's actually kind of cool. I
think that could be just a fun little kind of, again, Octodad Quap style sort of, or Surgeon Simulator sort of slightly detached control game. Picking up objects, having to shake them off, not make too much noise. Yeah, there's something there.
Shall we do one more quick one?
Let's do one more quick one.
Desktop.
Runaway.
Ooh, okay. Is this a game that is set on a desktop? And it's like...
So you're not, just to clarify, you're not talking like a desktop computer or the desktop of your computer screen.
It could be, because I'm kind of thinking, what if you're a runaway graphic? You escaped from your program and you're doing kind of like
so you are thinking like the desktop.
I was originally thinking of a physical desktop, but now I'm thinking the desktop of the PC kind of makes a little bit more sense with the with what I'm actually thinking.
Okay. So I like the idea of starting this off as one of those kind of faux operating system games.
Yep.
But yes, like you've got a few icons on the screen. You click on one to start it because, of course, the user's just going to be messing around, and a character drops out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and whether they talk to the person or not, I don't know. But I kind of like you now are controlling that character.
Yeah.
In a very like platformer way where they can like run around the desktop and yes, then I like the idea of, it could be really interesting then to be able to like drag folders around that you can then climb up on to get the character to places that they need to go.
Yeah, like they can open up a window and that gets them over to, the rubbish bin up here where I think it's a love story between a character and their partner who got deleted and put into the trash bin. Okay. And the whole idea is that you're going on an adventure trying to get to the recycle bin. When you get there, that's when your arch nemesis, the computer user, actually comes along and empties the recycle bin, and that's where you sort of end up.
Well, hang on, because
no, now it goes into undeleting and all this sort of stuff, and like there's a deeper underground level.
That's fine. It's just I was kind of liking the dynamic where you are sort of playing both the computer user moving folders and things around, and this character that you can then. Because I was actually thinking this is ripe for almost a Metroidvania sort of thing where you're unlocking new abilities to like open protected folders or, dive into different types of programs where you then get to play a little level out or something before to find something where you come back.
Oh, you actually need your character inside the game to find, and be able to click that button that unhides the password so you can find that password out to get into.
To like get into the settings and get a password I think playing out a Metroidvania style thing all in the context of this computer desktop could be really cool.
Yeah.
But
I'm really enjoying this now. Like,
I think you could still do the love story where you're trying to, potentially undelete your romantic partner, or just for whatever reason, they are in the recycle bin and it's going like there's a daily thing that like empties the recycle bin or something. So to not put that on the user, but for whatever reason, the user can't get them out. The player, the character can't get to them yet. You can put some protections in place. Maybe it's that another user of the computer like is what deleted it in the first place.
Oh yeah. It was 100% the user's like 3-year-old that was just hitting gibberish on the screen and deleted the character.
Yeah.
But the problem is there's actually a sinister program in the background that is legitimately holding your partner hostage. And it's like
they've released it. Your 3-year-old turned off the antivirus. And so that's like taken it out of the quarantine, and there's now some sort of malicious software that is preventing you from getting into the recycle bin. I really like the idea of you can't talk between you and this character until you get the chat program open.
Yeah, and even then, like, there's only potentially like only the sound is on. The microphone isn't activated at the moment because there's a driver conflict or something like that the user can't now speak. Yeah, I
was literally thinking like Messenger, like chat, like text chat. So like if you can get the character to, the menu that has chat in it, which is, a platforming jump from here to here, and they have to be able to trigger the sub menu or something, like we can bring in those sorts of mechanics where to get certain things. And now you've got the chat open in your system tray. And so now you and this character, you as the user of the computer and this character within the computer can have conversations, and that can give you some exposition and that sort of thing.
Okay, so I like the idea of you have, your left hand is controlling the character on the screen. So that's you jumping and all that sort of stuff. Your mouse hand is controlling the user, so you can move things while you're like.
Yeah, the controls could be slightly tricky. Yes, I think you'd probably have to do it that way, essentially.
But we want it to be playable by everyone. So there's no things that's actually say that you have to do them both at the same time. It's just when you go for speed running, that's what you sort of...
Yes, I think being able to do it with both hands. I think you'd probably want it even playable on a controller. And I saw one recently where essentially your right thumbstick is controlling the cursor and maybe a trigger to click, and then your left thumbstick is controlling the character, and you've got like a face button to jump. And you'd want to keep those character controls fairly simple, maybe like just directions and one or two, a jump and an action button or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's no actual combat in the game. It's all puzzle solving around, okay, do you need to get into the registry to actually find, the passwords? And then when you get there, then you have to go find something, Metroidvania style. You got to go back and actually find, here's the password cracker that was installed. And
yeah, well, that's it. I think there's definitely one of the things is just finding out the admin password of some sort. Other ones, it might be even like unlocking the find in folder situation. Like, that there's something in this mess of folders, but it's literally like hundreds of new folder 1, new folder 2 that are like 5 levels deep. So you can't find what you're looking for until you've unlocked the ability to search through them. There's lots of fun little little things we could do that are familiar to anybody who's used Windows, basically, or an operating system before.
Yeah, and I think very much like, as you're running along the bottom, along the, the taskbar or whatever it is down the bottom, you can jump up into a, say a file folder that's been opened, and then the user can sort of pull that up and pull it above some other icons that you can now drop down out of that window onto this. Now the user has to move the folder again, and then you can climb up the other icons as you're going sort of Prince of Persia style. I'm liking the whole
yeah, like grab up onto the lip and pull yourself up. Yeah, I think you could do some really fun platforming around the screen whilst having enough variety from the Metroidvania style stuff of unlocking your different things to really have a lot of depth to the types of things you're doing and the places you're traveling.
Yeah, because I almost like that one of the things that you have to actually get is you can't actually step onto file folders or windows until you get like a certain.
You have to change the theme or something. There's you're on a borderless theme, and so you can't. Yeah. Like the character can't step on them until you change the theme.
Yeah. That's actually really cool. I like that idea. And then, so it's basically you've got to organize the icons in sort of like a stairway up to this area, and then,
Yeah, well, and it may even be that like initially you don't have enough icons on the screen to get them high enough. Like you have to find a way to create new folders or I don't know, whatever, get new programs onto the screen to be able to get higher and higher.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
That does bring us to the end of this episode, though.
That does.
Thank you to everyone who's just listened on PAX Online.
Yeah, if this was your first episode and you found us through the PAX Online stream, then if you enjoyed yourself, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm. We have 250 episodes at least sitting there. Thousands of game designs that we've come up with over the past 5 years.
Some better than these. Most better than these.
Well, don't be too hard on yourself, Trevor. I think we had some good stuff tonight. But look, shoot over there. We'd love you to leave us a review if you happen to listen to one of those previous episodes or this episode once it's up on our main feed. And check it out. And welcome.
If you like the music that you heard at the start and the same music's coming up at the end, that was performed by a band called Kuradust, that we're both members of. The song is Mount Defiance of the album Containment Failure. You can find that on Bandcamp. Just search for Kuradust and Containment Failure and the Bandcamp should come up.
Yeah. So thank you again for joining us on this very special PAX Online episode of Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
And it's time to ring the bell of Yondir.